J-Mad is not your everyday lunch partner. He's all the way raw.
How are you going to say Black Lives Matter when the only reason you come out is when cops kill us and we don't come out when we kill ourselves? That's crazy, man.
He's all the way real.
The truth? You can't even handle the truth.
And most of all, he has his priorities right.
I want the Falcons and the Hawks to be my pallbearers at my funeral. That way they can let me down just one last time.
J-Mad gives it to you big.
Yeah, you need that real talk. Well, J-Mad, he got ya. Right here doing God's work, bringing life after the collar. Hey, radio show and he's doing it big. You just can't ignore J-Mad, bringing you the word. Just holla at your boy. Hey, life after the collar with J-Mad.
You're listening to your boy J-Mad on Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and all the other platforms that we are on. Even Alexa can make it do what it do, baby. Y'all, we're going to have a good time tonight. I am back on air. I have my folks on Facebook. Let me move my camera around so I don't have to lean back and forward and all this other stuff. But we're moving. We're good. It's 2019. I did two shows already from my Friday night show. Those that do keep up with me, those that do keep up with me on my show, y'all know I have a Friday night show. So I've been doing my Friday night shows. I just have not been able to hang out on my weekday shows, but I'm live and in effect and ready to rock and roll and do this thing. We got a new format that's going on. Do this. If you on Facebook, what's up, cuz? Scott Madison, what's going on? If you on Facebook, if you're on my Facebook Live, go down to, I think it's under the share button, and instead of hitting share under the share button where to share on your page, hit watch party. All right, hit watch party so that we can get as many people in. And y'all let me know, because under your watch party, you're going to have people commenting on your page that I can't see. And if you can see it and I can't, send me a message real quick and say, hey, this person asked this question, that person, or whatever. Dewana, what's going on? Ms. Milton, what's going on? Good to see you. Pastor Coleman, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Thank you so much for coming in. Y'all, we're going to have a great show tonight. We really are going to have a great show tonight. Here's the new format. Matter of fact, let me play this one jam, and then I'm going to be back. I'm gonna play this one jam, and I'll be back, and I'll explain the new format. Let me get myself situated here. I didn't know my camera was going to be that close. So let me get some stuff situated. We're going to be ready to rock and roll. You good? I'm good. We all good, because it's all great.
Don't be a fool. Don't give your nights to someone else while giving days to those who really love you. Don't be a fool like me and give your life to someone else while faking love to those who really love you. Why couldn't I have realized the gravity of telling lies, whose weight now shows upon your faceless smile? I know in your heart now and before, but I won't do it anymore. Trust in me and fall in love again. Listen to these charms, baby, I'm not fooling, and fall into these open arms of love. Listen to these charms, baby, I'm not fooling, and fall into these open arms of love. listen to these charms. 'Cause baby, I'm not fooling around and fall into these open arms of love. Gravity of tears and eyes, whose weight now shows upon your faceless smile. I broke your heart now and before, but I won't do it anymore. Trust in me and fall in love again. Listen to these charms. Baby, I'm not fooling and fall into these open arms of love. Listen to these charms, 'cause baby, I'm not fooling and fall into these open arms of love. Listen to these charms, 'cause baby, I'm not fooling around and fall into these open arms of love, and fall into these open arms of love, and fall into these open arms of love.
You're listening to your boy J-Man on Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and all the other platforms that we're on. Even Alexa can make it do what it do. This is your boy J-Man. Look, y'all, we are, and this is Life After the Collar. Y'all know what it's about. We're gonna have a good time tonight. I have this talk show. We listen to some great music. The format has changed a little bit more. I want to make sure that we get more engaged in the conversation. So make sure that you are engaged in the conversation, whether you are texting on Facebook Live, whether you're texting in the chat room. Lottie is in the chat room. Aries is in the chat room. Michelle is in the chat. It looked like all of those that was in the chat room has moved over to Facebook Live. I still need y'all over in the chat room because I need my numbers to be up. All right. So it is Spreaker.com, SPREAKER /show, SHOW /LATC. LATC stands for Life After the Collar. All right. We're going to have a great show. Let me go ahead and get into it. Let me get situated a little bit more comfortable here. Sorry about that. So I usually start off with a motivational moment. And tonight I want to use this as a motivational moment. What time is it? Look at your watch and see what time it is. Okay. Aries says she left Facebook. Thank you so much, dear. Thank you, Ladia, for putting that on there. Putting that on y'all. Make sure y'all, because you can go back and listen to it. Anthony, my cousin Anthony, is on board. What's on, Anthony? Mr. Madison, what's going on with you? Michelle says she is hosting okay. Michelle said to host a watch party on Facebook. Hit the share. I tried that from my computer. Maybe because it's under my name. I wasn't able. But that's what I thought. Harold Robertson, what's going on with you, brother? Thank you so much for being in here, Harold. That's my backup on in the chat room. That is my backup. What's going on with you, Harold? That's my dude. Usually in the chat room it's all ladies, but tonight I got my boy Harold. Where's my other dude? Make sure my other dude get in the room. Harold, make sure my other dude get in the room. So here we go. The motivational moment is this. What time is it? Look at your watch. Not the one on your wrist, and not the one on the wall, but your life watch, your life clock. What time is it? Time waits for no one. I know you've heard this a million times before, but time waits for no one. I know at the blink of an eye, I remember my kids, when my kids were little, running around, telling them to stop, don't do this, don't do that. Now I blink my eye and they're grown. One is in college, one is in the Army, and I still have a little one. But my two oldest, I remember when they were small, but it seemed like it was yesterday. This month, January, makes 10 years of me being retired from the military. 10 years from me being retired from the military. It was yesterday. It was yesterday that I was enjoying the military life, traveling the world, saying different things, and all of this other good stuff. But 10 years later, here I am, retired. Who would have thunk it? Who would have think that time would go by so fast? On Facebook, they have this thing called How Did You Age? How did you age? And what the challenge is, that you are supposed to go back to when your very first profile picture to today's profile picture and look at the age. Look and see how much you've aged. I was dumbfounded to realize that my first picture was in 2009. It's 2019. No, it was 2008. It's 2019 now. Life has changed, has moved so fast. But I want you to look at your clock. And what time is it in your life? Is it time for you to play catch up? Is it time for you to go back and do the things that you said you wanted to do but never got a chance to do? What time is it? Is it time for you to get your passport and travel the world? Is it time for you to chase that dream that you never went back and chased? Is it time for you to go back to college? Is it time for you to do this? Is it time for you to start your business? Is it time for you to write that book? What time is it for you? Don't let another second go by without you doing what you said you wanted to do years ago. What time is it for you? The next thing you know, another five years is going to have gone by. Another 10 years would have passed by. The next thing you know, you're looking at grandkids and great grandkids. And I wonder if you're going to ask yourself or tell yourself, I ran out of time. Don't let so much time pass by that you run out of time. There's this one game that I love to play on my phone. Some of them allows you to have infinity amount of time. You can take your time. But then there's other levels that I play on that it only gives you so much time. What level are you on? Are you able to have all the time you want in life? Do you feel like you're still in your 20s, your teens, your 20s, your 30s? Bishop T.D. Jakes once said this about time. and about aging. When I'm in my 20s, I have so many options. I can do this. I can do this. I have time to do this. I can go back and do this. I can cover this. I can do this. I can do this. But then when I reach my 30s, I still got a little bit of time because I still can make some mistakes. I still have time to make mistakes. But once I reach my 40s, I have a few more options. It's not as much as my 30s and my 20s, but in my 40s, I only have a few more options. And definitely, when I reach my 50s, I only have 2 more good moves that I can make. What time is it for you? That's my question. What time is it for you? Look at your watch. Not on your wrist, not on your wall, but look at your life and ask yourself, what time is it? Is it time for you to do what you need to do? That's been your motivational moment. I am your host on Life After the Collar. They call me J-Man. And we're going to have a great time tonight, yo. We're going to have a great time tonight. We're going to do, I'm going to dedicate this song right here. I'm on my Gregory Porter kick. I'm not going to play all Gregory Porter, but I want y'all to listen to this. The name of it is Brown Grass. And it deals with kind of what the motivational moment is about. And it's talk about, brown grass, Just listen to the song. If you're not in on Springer.com, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and all those, I'm gonna talk over the music on Facebook Live because I don't want to get booted off and stuff like
that. On the other side, nothing but brown grass. Now I'm open wide to the truth I left behind. Her love so hard to find. Now I find myself falling down on brown grass. Now I find myself rolling round on brown grass. Brown grass. On the other side, nothing but brown grass. Now I made a mess of the life I had with you, in search of something new. Now I find myself falling down on brown grass. Now I find myself rolling round on brown grass. Why didn't I know that she was a essential part of me? I thought that I needed to find me, and I needed to be free. Why didn't I know that she was all that I would ever need? I looked at the distant view and thought it was for me. But now I know it was just brown grass. On the other side, nothing but brown grass. Now I'm open wide to the truth I left behind. Her love so hard to find. Now I find myself falling down on brown grass. Now I find myself rolling round on brown grass. Why didn't I know that she was a essential part of me? I thought that I needed to find me, and I needed to be free. Why didn't I know that she was all that I would ever need? I looked at the distant view and thought it was for me.
You're listening to your boy J-Man on Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and all the other platforms that we're on. Even Alexa can make it do what it do. That was my boy Gregory Porter, Brown Grass. If you have not heard of Gregory Porter, you got to download this guy's music. Gregory Porter, he is a jazz vocalist, and this dude is awesome. This dude right here is off the chain. Hey, Miss Pugh, good to see you. Thank you. Well, I think he was already in the room. Thank you for joining us again. But Gregory Porter is off the chain. He really is. He really is. Tonight we're going to talk about, I was on Facebook earlier today. Well, actually, I was sitting around. Let me tell you how it happened. Sitting around looking at social media like I normally do, looking at news. So between news and social media, that's what I do every day. And I noticed a lot of relationship type of statuses was being put up. And one of the things that I noticed is that if a woman puts, Barbara, what's going on? If a lady puts up a comment about relationship, it's always either the guy's doing something wrong. You know, why don't you guys love your women the right way? When it's really it's two sides to every story. Let me put that. A lot of these comments that I see people put on Facebook about relationship is always saying that the man is not doing his part. The man is not doing his part. Every now and then I see something where the woman is not doing her part. Because men don't get down like that. We don't really get into that type of conversation for the most part. Now, when I see conversations like that, what I do is I go back and say, well, that goes both ways. And I know, Terrence, what's up, man? Teresa, what's going on? And I always say, hey, that goes both ways. You know, we both supposed to love each other the right way. We both are supposed to give to each other, and we both are supposed to do this, and communication with both parties. I always say that because I've been on the receiving end, and I think one of the reasons why I make those statements is because I've been on the receiving end from the lack of communication or the lack of love or the lack of whatever. I've been through it on that end. And so I try to tell people, you know, when we make statements like that, it is an all-inclusive, because what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If I'm not mistaken. Terrence, what's going on? That's my if you're on Facebook, Terrence is when he and I went to television radio broadcasting school together. And so I got to thinking, that really got me to thinking. And I proposed a question, and I was thinking about the dynamics, and this is the way I put it on Facebook. The dynamics of relationships have completely changed. The dynamics of relationships has completely changed over the decades. The way my grandmother or my great grandmother dated is nowhere near the way they dated and the way they lived in marriage. It's totally different than the way they dated and the way they lived in marriage. And so I'm sitting here thinking, I said, I wonder how many people would go back the way they dated back in the day. What are some of the things, and I'm asking this to Facebook, and I'm asking this into the chat room on Spreaker.com, those that's in both chat rooms. And if you want to come in on Facebook Live, tell me you want to come in, hit that little button, and I'll ring you in. But how many people, what are some of the things that you remember your grandparents or your parents talking about the way they dated, the way that they dated? Let me start with just dating. First of all, I remember conversations that from my grandparents and even my some other people in my life that are older than me. They told me that guys, when a guy came to pick up a date, you was at the door picking her up. Not only were you at the door picking her up, you were on the inside of the house conversating with mom and dad. That does not happen anymore. A lot of times what we do, and I've seen this happen so many, grandma's hand. Yeah, I got that for you, man. Harold requested grandma's hands. I got that for you, man. I looked that up. And nowadays they can literally just blow the horn and the daughter goes running out of the house. I'm gone. And the parents never stop her. And in most cases, let me not make this a blanket statement. Majority of the time, they just say, okay, see you later. But every time in old school, I don't care if this your 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th time picking her up, you was at the door picking her up. It doesn't happen like that anymore. Here's another thing in dating. And even beyond dating, even it leads into marriages. I am old school in this manner. I open doors. And one of the most frustrating things for me in dating is getting out of the car and everybody is in such a hurry to do stuff that they jump out of the car, they open up their door and they're getting out of the car. So I'm the type now that if I'm on a date with you and you get out of the car, I'm still gonna go over to the door and open up the door and act as if an imaginary person is getting out of the car, because the person that I'm gonna be in relationship with is going to allow me that. It's not. Now I understand. Don't get it twisted. I understand that when we're in a hurry to do stuff and we in the car we say, oh, we're in a hurry or whatever, and she said, oh, I'm in a hurry. Don't worry about it. I get those, and those are far and few. But life is not so busy, especially when you are in a dating mode. It should not be so fast. It should not be so rushed that you should not let a man be a gentleman. And guys, you should not let a woman be a lady. It should not be that rushed. I believe that the reason why marriages are failing so fast and so frequently is because we don't know how to slow down and enjoy each other. That's what we're in a rush to date. We're in a rush to get married, and then we become a rush to be in a divorce. Am I right or wrong? Y'all need to help me out. I'm watching both. I see all of my numbers on Facebook Live. I see all of my numbers on Facebook. Some women have never encountered a man that opens doors or be a gentleman. And that was Bobby. And I agree with that, Bobby. I wholeheartedly agree with that. And most men, I'm gonna flip it around. And some men are not used to a woman being a lady and allowing him to do that. The majority of just like most women don't get a chance or hardly get a chance to meet a man that does that for her. There are men out there that don't get a chance to meet and be with a woman that allows him to do it for her. So it goes both ways, because and I am at a point in life when I date or when I go out, I start the relationship off by saying, or especially we're going, it may not be a relationship, we're just dating. I do doors. I open doors. That is my open conversation. I open doors. Aries says, right. So when you get that man, get a man that will do it. I'm thinking it's a transition process. It takes time to get used to it. I love for a man, Bobby says, I love for a man to do those things that makes you feel important. Aries, you're right. You know, it does in this day and age. It does. But let me fight two battles at the same time. Ladies, you say that it's hard to find a man that do that. So my question is, do you require the man to do that? My goddaughters, I have 3 goddaughters that are adults. Adults. They're all adults. I have young teenage goddaughters too. But my oldest 3 goddaughters, I told them, you sit in the car. Don't get if he don't come around and open your door, you sit right there in the car. Before you get in your car, you stand on the outside of the door. You don't get in the car. You stand outside the door until he opens up your door for you. So it's not that you can't you can't find a guy that does that. And most of the time, it's not that you can't find a guy that does it. Majority of the time, it's not required of you all. I get and Bobby just made a great comment. Let me read what Karen just said. I agree with you, Jason. My fiance does that and does that all. He opens doors, carries groceries, etc. That's great to have a guy like that, Karen. That is great, and good to have you on tonight as well. Some men are not brought up that way, but okay, that good question, Bobby, or good statement. So now I'm gonna flip it. Ladies, were you brought up that way? Were you brought up that way? See, we always say, well, the guy didn't do it because he wasn't brought up, or the guy didn't do it and God is. But how were you brought up? What standard do you have for yourself? Let me tell y'all something. Guys would do what you allow them to do. Period. Guys will do what you allow them to do. Aries over here on Facebook, Michelle says, I agree with Bobby. I love for a man to open my door. I taught my sons to open the doors to be respectful. Aries says, I have never required it, selling myself short, I guess. Yes, Michelle, I taught my son that as well. And he has been the only one I required. I know, sad. And so here's the thing. You're raising it. Okay, we'll just stick with Aries. Aries said that she required her son to do that. And I taught, because even when it comes to my sons, it starts young. You have to be trained. Yes, men and women have to be trained. Men and women has to be trained. They have to have a standard for themselves. The reason why you have to set the standard. I was just saying the same thing, Pastor Coleman. I was saying the same thing. Each party has a standard for themselves. It cannot be, oh, he's not doing this, so I'm not going to require him to do that. Well, if you're not requiring him to do that, why are you mad that he's not doing? Why are you upset that he's not doing that? Now, this leads on to deeper things. This leads to different things. I know it's simple as opening a door. Michelle said, I was raised by my grandparents, and yes, I have certain standards. This leads to different things. Because if he's not required to open your door, why would he be required to, you pull up, you done went to the grocery store, why would he be required to go outside and get the groceries in the house? Why would he be required? Because this is it dilutes. It has diluted the job titles of each person. Karen says this. Some women may get upset with me for saying this, but we need to act more ladylike. Some say they're looking for a husband. However, they're not presenting themselves as wife material. Karen, you are right where we are going tonight. Because I am sick and tired in relationship standards, especially when I see it on social media, women holding men to a standard that they are not willing to adhere to. There are, and that's what led me to the money situation. That's what led me to the money situation. If the conversation has not had, is not had beforehand, it throws out of whack what at least acceptable in the relationship from the beginning, Pastor Coleman. When we set a standard for ourselves from the beginning, and I understand what everybody else, what some of the people are saying, hey, you know, they weren't raised right. No, both parties wasn't raised right, apparently. Because if women was raised right, they would have a standard for themselves and would not accept anything below of what they were trained on. If men was raised right, they would not do anything less than what they was trained on. How do we get from where we are today? Miss Johnson, what's going on? Miss Fain, what's going on? Congratulations again on your marriage. How do we get back to relationship? Because when I look, and I'm going to be honest with you all. I'm going to be real honest with you all. I am completely terrified of being in a relationship. I am terrified. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I've learned that people give up too easy. One, people give up too easily. One, two, people are not willing to accept that they're jacked up. Not pointing the finger, because in past relationships, I've seen people that talk about me. You so jacked up, and I'm looking like, okay, I might be jacked up. But look in the mirror. Look in the mirror. Each party has to understand the dynamics of what they bring to the table. Let me tell you how, okay, let me digress back to the original statement that I made on Facebook. I said, how many women are willing to go back to the time where men made the money and the women stayed at home? The man was the provider and the woman stayed at home. I had so many women on there just going one after the other saying, yes, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll go back to being the housewife. So then I turned around and asked another question. Okay, he's the provider. You are the housewife. Now, are you? Hey, what's up, Philly? I'm at home, man. I'm at home. Are you willing, ladies? He's the provider, which you don't work. You have to rely on him for all the money that comes in the house. So when you need something, you have to go and ask him for it. One lady said she did the same thing. He gave her an allowance, but she went back and said she wished she would have known better on how. See, back then, the man was in control of the bank account. The bank account was in his name. She had no say-so in the money. How many women are willing to go back to that time? I know people sitting there saying, you know, I saw all the people saying yes, but they don't want to go back because they don't want to go back to the old school way of doing things. Now with me, my two oldest sons' mother, when I went off to the military, married her, went back to the military, I was different than my grandfather. My grandfather had his own bank account. He made majority of them. Now, but the difference, We did maid work and stuff like that with what my grandmother did. So she brought in a little bit of money. But back in the day, they weren't allowed to work. They weren't allowed to work for the most part. Now, my son's mother, she had total control over my bank account. Because I'm the type, I didn't care about money. As long as my bills paid, I'm good. I'm not talking about that relationship. I'm talking about being in a relationship where it's old school. Because you're not going to find too many guys like me that don't care. I literally don't care about money. I don't. I do not care about money. As long as I can go get what I want when I want it, I'm good. Bobby says she'll still have her secret stash. But see, that's bringing in the new age way of doing things. Because I'm going to tell y'all this. I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to go to some music. Ari says, my answer earlier, if he's providing, he is taking care of me, and I would not have to ask. Well, let me, okay. That's what Ari says. She wouldn't have to ask. You want a pair of shoes. You want a new pair of shoes. Now, you done bought some shoes yesterday. How he know you want some more shoes? How do he know to ask you, hey, you bought shoes yesterday, you want some more money to buy some more shoes? How does he supposed to know that? I'm talking about money that you spend free will. You can just go out and spend the money the way you want to spend. You ain't got to ask for it. I'm not talking about he has all your needs and all the bills and stuff is paid. Of course, you have a few dollars. He give you we'll call it an allowance. I hate calling that with grown women, but you got an allowance from him. But say you done used up your allowance, but you want something else. How do you want to do you want to have to go back and ask for some more money? I'm just saying. It is what it is. It is what I'm just trying to help everybody out. We all like it. I love it. It is what it is. All right. You're listening to your boy J-Man on Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and all the other platforms that we're on. I should have been looking for this other song that somebody asked for, but I'm gonna play. Who was that over here? Harold, my dude. Oh, he says, I'm getting ready to go to a music break, but Harold just chimed in. Hey, Harold, you my dog. You gotta help me out, man. Don't leave me out here by myself. I think sometimes we romanticize how things were back in the day. It was all kind of foolishness going on. I want to go right back there. I'm going to go back right there. I'm going to play this song, and then I'm going to play Harold's song that he requested, because I think I got that in my playlist. But let's see what we could do, what we do. Holla at your boy. This is your boy J-Man on Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and all. Sorry, y'all, I put the wrong song on there. This is for my boy Harold. You're listening to Life After the Collar with your boy J-Man on Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and all the other platforms that we are on. Sorry about that last...
Grandma's hands clapped in church on Sunday morning. Grandma's hand played a tambourine so well. Grandma's hand used to issue out a warning. She'd say, Billy, don't you run so fast. Might fall on a piece of glass. Might be snakes there in that grass. Grandma's hand. Grandma's hand soothe the local unwed mother. Grandma's hand used to ache sometimes and swell. Grandma's hand used to lift her face and tell her, she'd say, baby, Grandma, understand that you really love that man. Put yourself in Jesus' hands. Grandma's hand. Grandma's hand used to hand me a piece of candy. Grandma's hand picked me up each time I fell. Grandma's hand, boy, they really came in handy. She'd say, Matty, don't you whip that boy. What you wanna spank him for? He didn't drop no apple core, but I don't have Grandma anymore. If I get to heaven, I'll look for Grandma's hand.
That was always up in age. And that was always... You're listening to your boy J-Man on Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and all the other platforms that we're on. Even Alexa can make it do what it do. We've been in the chat room having a different conversation. Well, the same conversation, and it's been going pretty good. Let me go back up to where Terrence said that he was in a barbershop the other day, and he walked in. This young man, he's about 10 years old. He said young boy was about 10 years old, and he walked in, and the door shut, and then next thing you know, his mama and his little sister walked in behind him. And he said he grabbed the little boy and said, hey, you always hold the door open for your mother and your sister. Never let the door close for that without your mother and sister coming in. And that's training a child. And that's a village. Because apparently, I don't know, the father wasn't there because usually the father would bring the son to the barbershop. So, in today's world, more than likely, not to saying it is, but more than likely the father wasn't in his life. And he needed somebody to teach him that. So that we was talking about that earlier. Who was that? Miss Johnson was saying how she would just pay the bills. I will allude to the fact that wives sometimes and want to go, and she was basically having a conversation as if we are in the same mindset of in today's way of doing things, and which is true. Like, and that would have been, who was that? Miss Johnson. That would have been the way when I was married. My wife at the time, she didn't have to ask for money. She controlled all the money, and I think that's what Bobby was saying earlier a few minutes ago too. She remembers the guy would have the money and bring it home, and the wife would be in control of the money, which was in many cases that was very, very, very true. I just didn't care about money. As long as I had a rule when it came to me making the money, she sitting at home. One, I had to have a hot cooked meal for lunch and for dinner. If I was coming home for lunch, I called and say, I'm coming home from lunch. I needed a hot cooked meal. Dinner, I must have a hot cooked meal. And I'm not talking about, and see, I'm throwing another dynamic in this conversation right here. Women wanting men to be the provider, but the woman don't know how to be the housewife. I'm not talking about learning how to cook. I don't want to be practiced on. I don't want to be the guinea pig. How does this taste? No, I want to. If from the beginning, when I marry you, you staying at home and I'm working. When I get home every night, every single night, I want a hot cooked meal. I want a hot cooked meal, fresh. Every now and then we can go out to dinner, but 99% of the time we're eating at home, a home cooked meal. And for me, I don't eat leftovers. I don't eat leftovers. And see, back in the day, they didn't do too many leftovers. But that's just me. So I'm pretty sure most people don't want to marry me. Most people don't want to do the you stay at home, I go out and work. I got a good retirement check coming in. I can go back out and start working and maybe bring in even more money. I require I should never my sheets on my bed supposed to be a certain way. If I'm making all the money, my sheets are done a certain way. My towels, I do not see. I'm gonna give y'all some things that goes on with me. That probably the reason why I'm not married. My towels have to match. When I take my bath, I have to have matching towels. It irritates me when I can't have matching towels. It burns me. I expect my clothes to be ironed. But that's just me. That's just me. Let me see what they're saying over here in the chat room over here. I saw my name come up on somebody's conversation. We were both out staying together in the family. I don't know what that means. Right, that's what they did. Oh Lord. That's hard to think of a different meal and cook every night. But that's just how it was. I mean, it is. My thing is, here's one of the reasons, probably another reason why I'm not married. Because I grew up with my grandmother. I grew up with my grandparents. My grandparents raised us. My brother and I think that's what I'm going to do. Ladia said, J-Man don't need a wife. He can just hire someone to do all that. That's probably where I might end up. She might as well get a job. Bobby said she might as well just get a job. See, that's the balance of it. The guy came and he provided. He gave you everything that he needed. But when he came home, back in the day, when the guy came home, he felt like a king. He done fought off the world. He done went through, especially the black man. He done went through so much hell. And when back in the day, when he came home, there was a video, and I'm gonna see if I can find it one day and put it on my Facebook. But it was an old lady. She was talking, and she said, "Why do you fix your man a plate?" Because the woman wasn't fixing her man a plate, and she said this. I don't fix my man a plate because I feel like a slave or that I have to. It's because my man has been out there, and she was old. This is old school. He was out there being beat up by the world and treated like a dog and spit on and not treated right and all of this other stuff. So when he came home, I made sure that he felt like a king because he battled all of this stuff to bring this money home. So I made sure that he always had a hot meal and I served it to him. When we were growing up, my brother and I had twin sisters. My sisters stayed at home with my grandmother. They cleaned the house. They did the laundry. They cooked. My brother and I got up 6 o'clock every morning, especially during the summer. But on weekends, we would get up 6 o'clock and we would go out with my grandfather and we would do construction work. We would start off early in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, to do roofing because it was too hot in the afternoon. So you did your roofing. Once you finished your roofing, you came off and you start doing the other construction around the building that you was working on, or you did landscaping, or you did other things. And then we brought all the money home. But watch this. My grandmother told my sisters, don't let your brothers come home without a hot cooked meal. Ladia is bringing up a great point, but the men weren't bringing all the money to one home. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about my family ate the full course meal every day fresh. So I agree. Coco, that's perfect. Nothing wrong with that. The sheets, hot meal and matching towels, but me making that to dry cleaners for you. I don't care how the clothes. Who was that? Who was that said that? Streeter. I don't care how the clothes get done. Long as my clothes is where they need to be. Leftovers was unheard of. One, because our grandparents had more than 3 children. Therefore, right. That right there. Even the outlook of a family is different. She was saying that three children, therefore, they didn't have leftover. Some barely had enough to make a meal. Your grandparents raised, and they cooked enough for that day. They didn't believe in wasting. Now Chuck is saying this. Philly's saying this, and Chuck, this is the dynamic, and that's the relationship that I was talking about. The dynamics of the relationship is so much different nowadays. Let me bring it forward. Let me add in today's way of thinking, because Philly just said it. He's maybe about 5 years younger than me. He said, "All I want to do is come home. Y'all don't need no meal. I just want some peace and quiet." Nowadays, that's all most men want. I just want to be. I done did all of that out there. When I get home, I just want some peace and quiet. The outlook of the family is different because the average family has both adults working. We aren't living in the country anymore. Perfect. And it's not about living in the country anymore, because I know people that live out in the country that still have 2 jobs. It's about women's live and women knowing that they had more on the inside of them to offer. They had more on the inside of them to offer, so they wanted to be out and do more and be all that they can be. So it wasn't about, the city took over the country. It was about women wanting to do more. And when that happened, motherhood became secondary to a career. Not in all cases, but in most cases, motherhood became secondary. Being a wife became secondary. And so now, even in the households when you're married, you have to understand that being a wife or being a husband is secondary to your career now. I don't care how you try to fix it up and how people sit there and say, oh, you know, this, that, and the other. I'm still a mother first. I'm still a wife first. Real talk, it's secondary. And that's why the change of our family and why our children are so out of place. And the house is out of order and all of this other stuff is because the dynamics of the household has changed. I can go biblical with it if you want me to. Women running around talking about Proverbs 31 woman. No, she was working. She was an entrepreneur. But she did it from home. She was an entrepreneur from home. She took the money that he brought home. She went and bought fabric and flipped that money and made more money. She added to the money that he did by becoming an entrepreneur and using her skills to do other things, but was still a wife first. Somebody just said something that I just like. Chasing money has exceeded family time. Boom, there it is. That was Kim B. over here on Facebook. She said, chasing money has exceeded family time. And that is the most truest statement ever made when it comes to the dynamics of the relationship today. And I don't care how you put it. It's broken up families. It's our children are lost, all because chasing money. Looking at the Joneses. Not, no pun intended, Ladia. I saw a meme. Ari said, I saw a meme that said, these can't be the same bills our grandparents paid. Period. Evolution happened. Technology happened. Our desires happened. Our grandparents didn't have cell phone bills. Back in the day, the children didn't even have a TV in their room. Let's have a real good conversation. There was one television in the house. Every room didn't deserve a television. We had central heat and air wasn't a thing. We had a stove in one room. If you wanted to be warm, you was in that same room where the stove was on, the heater was on. Now we got central. Everybody can be in their own room, burning all kinds of electricity, all kind of heat, all of this other stuff. Somebody said that their sound is acting up. Anybody else sound is acting up over on Spreaker.com side of the house? Let me play this song by, I was playing it earlier, made a mistake. But no, I'm going to play another one. I'm going to play this one. It's been about 10 years since we lost this dude here, Teddy P. You listen to Life After the Collar with your boy J-Man on Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and all the other platforms that we're on. Even Alexa can do what we do. Chuck just said we need money to survive. So we're going to go back to that.
So good loving somebody, and somebody loves you back. To be loved and be loved in return, it's the only thing that my heart desires. Just appreciate the little things I do. Oh, you're the one who's got me inspired. Keep on lifting me higher. So good, loving somebody, and somebody loves you back. It's so good, needing somebody. loves you back, and that's a fact. It's so good wanting somebody, and somebody wants you back. Said it's so good. Desires. Just appreciate little things I do. Oh, you're the one who's got me inspired. Keep on lifting me higher. So good, loving somebody, and somebody loves you back, and that's a fact. It's so good, needing somebody, and somebody needs you back. Now 70-30, now 60-40, talking about a 50-50 love. Said it's so good, loving somebody, and somebody loves you back, yeah. Said now 70-30, now 60-40. Talking about a 50-50 love, yeah. It's so good, good. Loving somebody, and somebody loves you back. It's so good, good. I'm so glad that there's you. I've experienced over and over again where I've given 80% and she's given 20%. Or she's given 70% and I've given 30%. But you just don't know how it feels to have somebody that you can share your whole life with. Somebody that you don't mind talking to. Somebody that you don't mind going down the middle of the road with. I know a lot of guys today, they wish they had somebody just like you. A lot of guys today, they wish they had somebody. I don't know when the last time that I told you, but girl, you make me so very happy. I don't know when the last time that I told you, but girl, you make me so very happy. I think we've got something that a lot of people don't seem to have. I think we've got something that we're talking about. All of people don't love, yeah.
You're listening to your boy J Mad on Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and all the other platforms that we're on. Even Alexa can make it do what it do, baby. Because that's how we do when we're doing what we're doing. Because however we're doing it the right way. I appreciate y'all joining in on the show tonight. Like I said, this is a totally different platform the way we're doing our platforms. We're doing less music and more conversation. Thank you. Somebody said this is a great conversation that we've had tonight. Kim said it. Somebody else said it on. I think it was Ladia that had said it earlier. Chuck is in a his name is really. I'll just keep calling him Chuck. So Chuck is in a different conversation, and he's actually bringing it in to where we are today. Chuck says this. I let my kids listen to what they want. They watch TV, and we have very loose-knit relationship. I don't know if he meant close-knit relationship. We talk crazy. Ain't no telling how our conversation will go. And you'll hear from us that don't make us bad parents. This ain't the 70s or 80s. Times have changed. They know when we talk. They know when to talk and when to listen. We give them the freedom to be individuals and not what society wants them to be. Okay, let's bring it up to today. There is a statement that we made. There's a statement that we made. I know I made it when I was in my teenage years, my young adult, preteens, and how I grew up with my grandparents. And I guarantee you, a lot of you all made this same statement. That statement is this: I'm not going to raise my kids. I'm not going to let my kids, I'm not going to force my kids to go to church all the time. And I'm not going to force my kids. I'll let them, if they want to watch TV, I'm going to let them watch TV. I'm going to let them listen to music. We said that growing up. We said those things. I know I said it. But now society, because we made those adjustments at home, society changed. Whenever we change home, it affects our community. Whenever we make changes at home, how we're raising our families, it's going to affect the community. And so now I'm the same way. Chuck, I did the same thing. Even when I was a youth pastor, I monitored what my sons listened to. I really monitored. Now they couldn't listen to songs that had cuss words in it. Happy New Year's to you as well. They could not listen to music that had cuss words in it. But I growing up, I couldn't listen to secular music. I started listening to my grandfather. My grandfather gave me a radio years ago. He said it was a shortwave radio. And he said, if you can fix it, you can have it. So he gave it to me. Didn't think I was going to know how to fix it. Well, I didn't know what I was doing it. So I fixed it and I started listening to secular music. That's how I got into DJing. That's why I fell in love with music, period. But then growing up, they hear it in my car. And look, one of the things I don't do, I don't tell people how to raise their children. I don't tell people. And I'm not saying how you're parenting is wrong. It's totally different. Because even now, my kids are grown now. So I have mine are adults. So when I get in their car or they get in they ain't gonna hear craziness in my car. I do a lot of old school hip hop. I don't do a lot of the new age stuff. It's the new school hip hop. I don't get with it at all. But my back in the day, my son, they would hear secular music, but it wouldn't have cuss words in it. They wouldn't hear that. Now, but then, and I'll share this story with you, Chuck. My son, he was probably 9 years old, probably a little bit older. Yeah, about 8 years old, 9 years old, somewhere right in there. No more than 10. And I had bought him a computer for his room. And somehow he got a hold to learn how to download music. This was back in Napster and stuff like that. And he had downloaded this one song that had a whole lot of cuss words in it. But he knew I didn't allow him to listen to music with cuss words. So he put on his headset, on his earphones, and was listening. He was bobbing away. And I was like, okay, what is this dude listening to? So I go over there and I snatch the headphones out, and it's coming through the speakers now. And it's throw some D's on this B. Throw some D's on this B. And B ain't nothing about no B on the grade. The BITC. Now I turned his tail any which way but loose that night. I did. But now that he's older, when he became a teenager and stuff, I knew that they was listening to profanity laced music. I knew they were, but they respected me enough not to do it in front of me. I said it, but it's important to limit TV and social media. The music today is so full of profanity, disrespectful words, and disheartening. It is. I agree with that statement, Kim. I completely agree with that statement. I completely agree with that. Even the cartoons are foolishness now. It is what it is. Even the cartoons are foolishness. But relationships have changed so much. It has changed so much. I'm getting ready to get off of social media, off of Facebook Live, and I'm only over here on Spreaker.com for the remainder of the show. I'm going to play music. Now, if you want to... Let me see if I can find it. I'm going to give out the phone number. If you want to call into the show. Let me see if I can find it, because I'm in a different location. This is the new set. You all are looking at the new set for Life After the Collar. So, we're going to make it happen this way. So if you are Google number, because I almost ended up giving my phone number out, which would not have been pretty at all. Well, I'm not going to do it. Because I can't find it. Now, if you have my personal number, you can call my number if you want to be on the show, and we can go that way. So y'all, thank y'all so much on Facebook Live. Thank y'all so much for rolling with me. Monday, Wednesday, Fridays is the show for Life After the Collar. Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, 7 p.m. Monday and Wednesday, it's going to be this format. Fridays is the live broadcast from Paradise Island, 3316 Snapfinger Road in Lithonia, Georgia. So if you're in the area, 3316 Snapfinger Road in Lithonia, Georgia, and you don't mind cigar smoke, come hang out with us. We have a great time. I don't do much talking on Friday nights. I'm usually just jamming the night away with my folks out there in the cigar lounge. All right. It's all good. It's all gravy. So, let's go this way with it. Cause, she can sing it like no other person can. See, thank you, Ladia, so much. Thank you so much. Be blessed, brother. I'll call you soon for some pics. I'm out. Hey, yeah, man, I need to do that. Hey, if y'all looking for a photographer, in the ATL area, Terrence is a great photographer. He did it in the military. He's now out. He's into radio stuff now, and he also does photography as well. So y'all hit him up. Terrence Ferguson on Facebook. Hey, Terrence, give me your information so I can put it on the radio as well real quick. It's all good. It's all great. All right? I'll let your boy. I'm going to see y'all later. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me tonight. It has been a blast. We're going to get ready to work this thing over on this side. Let's make it do what it do. See you Wednesday, 7 p.m. I'll let your boy. Hey, I appreciate you all so much for hanging out with me tonight. We have certainly had a great night tonight. We only have a few more minutes left on the show tonight. Again, if you have my personal number, you can call in if you want to be on the show. If not, I'll give the Google number out because I have to go back and find it. I lost a piece of paper. Well, not I lost that. Y'all know I was in the process of moving, so I'm just now getting settled in. So we're gonna make sure that we get that number out as well in email. Make sure that you're sharing the. Thank you so much. Who was that just texted me? Michelle, saying that she making sure that she getting people signed up and situated. On Facebook, we had on one person's page, we had over 100 listeners tonight on Facebook watch party. So that's why if you're on Facebook and when I launch my live, just hit watch party, and I think all you have to do is go to share. When you hit share, you should see watch party, start watch party or something like that. So y'all make sure that we start doing that and we get more people into the group tonight. All right, I appreciate y'all. Let's go and listen to this. I want to go back into some Gregory Porter. I've been in my Gregory.
Hey, Laura, it's me. Sorry, but I had to ring your doorbell so late. But there's something bothering me. I really am sorry, but it just couldn't wait. Is there someone else instead of me? Go ahead and lie to me and I will believe you're not in love with him, and this fool can see that the rivers of your love flow uphill to me. Hey, Laura, it's me. Sorry, but I had to ring your doorbell so late. But there's something bothering me. I really am sorry, but it just couldn't wait. With a healthy dose of make-believe, won't you lie to me and make me believe that you're in love with me, and this fool can see that the rivers of your love flow uphill to me. Hey, Laura, it's me. Sorry, but I had to ring your doorbell so late. But there's something bothering me. All night long, I just couldn't wait. With a healthy dose of make-believe, go ahead and lie to me and make me believe that you're in love with me, and oh, this fool can see that the rivers of your love flow uphill to me. Hey, Laura, it's me. Hey, Laura, it's me. Hey, Laura, it's me. Did we ever lose our minds and fall apart, knowing we're the only ones to heal each other's hearts? Bring your love on back to me. Stop this insanity before we go too far.
Did we ever lose our way and try to say love is a losing game? Should have never tried to play. Bring your love on back to me. Stop this insanity before we go too far.
We were lovers, and the best of friends, And I hope that we can be that. Oh, until the end. Sometimes the lover can be angry till the end. But it's always the friend inside that will make amends. Oh, how did we ever lose our way and try to say love is a losing game? We will never be the same. Bring your love on back to me.
Bring it back to me.
Stop this insanity,
Stop this insanity.
before we go too far.
Before we go.
Before we go too far.
Before we go too far. Ooh, yeah.
We were lovers and the best of friends.
We were the best of friends.
And I know that we can be there, till the end.
We gon' be there till the end.
Sometimes a lover can be angry till the end. Oh, but it's always the friend inside that will make amends. Oh,
how did we ever lose our way and stop to say love is a losing game? We will never be the same.
bring your love on back to me.
Bring it back.
Stop this insanity before we go too far.
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 Before we go too far. Before we go too far.
Here we go.
Many times before. Once I was a white gazelle on horseback riding free, searching in the darkness for a piece of me. I can feel this for sure. I've been here before. For sure, for sure, for sure. I've been here before. I used to be a queen, you know, on an island by the sea, with rainbow-colored people. Happy as can be. We never had a problem, there never was a care, and love was ever flowing, and its feelings shared. Vast and never ends. Stars to me are children. Babies are my friends. Heart is like a galaxy. In my spirit flies. Felt this way a million times. Please don't ask me why. Question of my lifetime. Ask my point of view. Say it all was karma. Call it deja vu. 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 And I can feel this for sure. I've been here before.
don't look so sad. I know it's over. But life goes on, and this world keeps on turning. Yeah, let's just be glad we had this time to spend together. There is no need to watch the bridges that we're burning. Lay your head upon my pillow. Sweet babe, hold your warm and tender body close to mine. Hear the whisper of the raindrops roll softly against my window all late at night. Make believe you love me one more time. For the good times. For the good times. I'll get along, and I'm sure you'll find another. But baby, please remember, I'll be here. I'm gonna stay right here. If you should ever find you need me, yeah, don't say a word about tomorrow or forever and ever and ever and ever. There'll be time enough for severance when you leave me. For the good time. Oh, yeah. For the good time. Lay your head. Lay your head on my pillow. Oh, this is one time, girl. One time. Hold your warm and tender body close to mine. Hear that whisper, oh the raindrops, blowing softly, softly against my window. All you gotta do is make believe you love me one more time.
for the good times. For the good times. And here's what you ought to do is lay your head on my pillow. I just want to hold you on. Sit down, close to my heart.
Close to mine. Y'all, that's Al Green is something serious, y'all. The Al Green is something. That's some good old school music. Look, I appreciate y'all hanging out with me tonight. This is your boy J-Man on Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and all the other platforms that we are on. Even Alexa can make it do just what it do. We're going to close out with this song right here. And I'll see y'all Wednesday, 7 p.m. Y'all know we're doing it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Now, Monday and Wednesday is the talk show. Friday, we're just going to jam the night away. Holla at your boy. It's all good. It's definitely.
With my body and soul, when the road gets rough, you say things you should not say. But I never meant to treat my baby that way. I apologize. Believe me. Oh, believe me, I do. I apologize. Honest and true, because I know I was wrong. And so I sing you this song that I'm trying to get through and make it up to you, yes. Operator, it was like a bad dream. Lord, you should have heard the way he shouted and the way that he screamed. I regret it, 'cause I was unfair. I took it all out on him just because he was there. When the road gets rough, you say things you should not say. I never meant to treat my daddy that way. I apologize. Believe me. Oh, believe me, I do. I apologize. Honest and true, because I knew I was wrong. So I sing you this song, and I'm gonna get through, yeah, and make it up to you. I apologize for I was unkind, and I wish that I could roll back in time, erase the goodbye, and rewrite my lines. But come rain or come shine, I wanna do right this time. I apologize. Oh, baby, I do, because I know I was wrong.
J-Mad is not your everyday lunch partner. He's all the way raw.
How are you going to say Black Lives Matter when the only reason you come out is when cops kill us and we don't come out when we kill ourselves? That's crazy, man.
He's all the way real.
The truth? You can't even handle the truth.
And most of all, he has his priorities right.
I want the Falcons and the Hawks to be my pallbearers at my funeral. That way they can let me down just one last time.
J-Mad gives it to you big.
Real talk, well, J-Mad, he got ya. Right here doing God's work, bringing life after the collar. Hey, radio show, and he's doing it big. You just can't ignore. J-Mad, bringing you the word. Just holla at your boy. Hey, life after the collar with J-Mad.